The Big Bang Theory didn't allow much room for improvisation.
That's not normal.
But of course, it was impossible to keep all 12 seasons tightly scripted. And a few important moments in the show weren't originally planned. Why was it Kaley Cuoco's fault that Penny became a bartender? What made the Sheldon and Amy spanking scene a total surprise for the cast? And how did Kevin Sussman channel his inner Stuart with an improvised line?
I'm fun. I'm not clinically depressed at all.
Nope, it's not this one. Keep watching to find out more. Hiding behind the bar. If you're a fan of Kaley's, you probably know that she's an avid horse rider, but you might have missed the fact that her hobby led to quite a headache for the entire Big Bang crew. When the filming of Season 4 was in progress, Kaley had a serious riding accident. Her horse suddenly spooked, and she fell off. At first, it looked like it wasn't a big deal, but then...
My horse was still kind of spooking. He was in the corner. He was trying to get away from me. He leaped over me and landed on my leg.
Ouch!
And I heard... No, I really did. And I thought he landed on leaves.
But those were her bones she heard cracking. Kaley only realized what had happened when she saw that her foot was facing her. That's when she finally felt the pain. The injury was pretty bad, so Cuoco missed filming the Irish pub formulation episode. Of course, the writers had to think fast, because they didn't want Penny to suddenly turn up wearing a cast on her leg. So they came up with the idea to turn her from a waitress into a bartender at the Cheesecake Factory. This way, they could film just the top part of Kaley's body and hide her injured leg behind the bar. And it was actually a nice change to the script, as it let us see Sheldon drunk on Long Island iced tea.
On the other hand, that low-down polecat done wronged my woman.
Anyway, Penny's bartending days didn't last too long as Kaley made a speedy recovery. And kudos to her, because this freaky injury didn't make her afraid of riding. In fact, the actress couldn't wait to get back in the saddle.
If I could get this through my saddle, I would be on right now.
That's what we call dedication. And the next couple of actors also showed it on the set, while filming one of their most awkward scenes. Bringing redness to the A. Did you know that some fans have a problem with the episode where Sheldon is taking care of sick Amy? Since he's a huge germaphobe, he wasn't supposed to even come close to her, let alone apply Vapo Rub on her chest. But can't we just assume that Sheldon loved her too much to let her suffer on her own? Besides, this plotline gave us a very funny and memorable scene. You certainly remember how Sheldon spanked Amy at the end of the episode for lying to him about being sick. But this silly act wasn't supposed to play out that way. Jim Parsons shared that, according to the script, the spanking was to take place off-screen. In the original plan, the moment Sheldon's hand was reaching Amy's derriere, the camera had to shift to monkeys in her apartment. Sure, that would have been funny, but then the writers realized that they could make it better if they showed the whole thing. And boy, were they right.
Oh my.
The decision took Jim by surprise, and both he and Mayim required many takes to actually film the scene.
I would say one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because I found it tremendously amusing.
It was a huge shock not only for them, but also for their co-stars. Like for Kaley, who came down to the set from her dressing room, still thinking that the whole thing was going to be off camera.
And I just see this big TV with him spanking her ass, and I'm like, what the hell happened?
Parsons even said that if he knew he'd have to do it, he'd have prepared beforehand.
I would have practiced how to control myself if I'd have known all week. But all week I was slapping that ass off camera.
Both of the actors were pretty committed to getting the scene right, with proper sounds and all. And it eventually took a physical toll on Mayim.
There was some redness.
But it was all worth it. Now let's talk about another actress who brought some original flavor to the show too. The ever-changing voice. Have you noticed that when Bernadette first appeared in The Big Bang, she sounded like this?
I couldn't ride a bicycle because my mother was afraid I'd hit a bump and lose my virginity.
But by the end of the series, it was like this.
I know I can be tough, but that's just because I'm surrounded by useless idiots.
Pretty different, huh? As the show progressed, Bernadette's voice became more high-pitched. And the reason why is that Melissa Rauch wanted to add more personality to her character. Surprisingly, the writers didn't have a problem with it and just allowed the actress to do her thing. Rauch immediately found an inspiration for her voice.
Bernadette's voice is very similar to my mother's, except without the Jersey accent.
But since Melissa sounds completely different in real life, it causes some confusion. When die-hard Big Bang fans hear the actress's real voice, they think she's just a look-alike.
I think sometimes I'll get recognized and then they'll hear my voice and be like, oh, that's not you. That's not you.
Well, it's easy to understand because Melissa sounds like a totally different person. Meanwhile, some of the recurring stars also brought their ad-libbing to the show. Let's see if they made it better. Stuart, being Stuart. We're so used to him being an awkward guy who doesn't know how to ask someone out.
I could do worse.
And we forget that, in the beginning, Stuart was very different. He was quite a smooth-talking fellow, confident enough to have a date with Penny.
But what if I didn't like it?
It'd still be you, but I'd feel like an idiot.
Sadly for him, their relationship ended before it even started. And not long after that, Stuart became one of the loneliest and most cringe-worthiest characters in the show. Whose fault is that? Well, it's all Kevin Sussman, the actor behind Stuart. In the third season's The Guitarist Amplification, there's a scene where Penny returns to the comic book store and briefly chats with him. Then she walks away, while Stuart mumbles the phrase that started his transition into the character we know.
I love you.
Sussman improvised that line, and everyone liked it. The writers laughed a lot. And after that moment, they started having me back. And I noticed that they started having the character of Stuart sort of regress, Kevin commented. His character development changed completely as he turned from a normal fellow to a desperate guy. Eventually, he became more than a guest star, as fans loved seeing his interactions with everyone else. And here's another recurring character whose ad-libbed scene became a favorite for fans. Live long and improvise. The fans of Star Wars and Star Trek don't always get along, and Wil Wheaton understands it better than anyone. So he had to use his chance and make fun about it in Season 9's episode, The Opening Night Excitation. That's the one where the gang went to watch a new Star Wars movie, remember? Wheaton arrived at the premiere, causing a huge deal of drama among the galaxy far, far away fans. It was quite a risky decision to come there dressed like Spock. But Wil knew what he was doing. It was actually his decision to wear that exact costume. In fact, only a few writers knew about it before the director said, "Action." So the surprise on the faces of Leonard, Raj, and Howard was genuine. And everyone, and I mean everyone, was dying from laughter. But that wasn't all, because the scene continued with another improvised line from the actor.
Star Trek stinks! Yeah, live long and suck it!
Yeah, that was also Wil's idea. Do we have to mention that the actor was proud of himself that day on the set? Here's what he said about it. When you can kill the crew on a sitcom, it feels really, really, really good. It's like hitting a home run. Oh, I bet it felt awesome. Which improvised moment in the series was your favorite? Share in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about your favorite TV show, check out our other videos on The Big Bang Theory.